Arsen, is nice to see you. We're doing this again.
Nice to see you, Peter. It's been a while.
It hasn't been that long. I mean, it was what? We did this a month and a half ago, and we said we were going to do another one. So here we are doing our second one. How you feeling?
Very good. How about you?
Good. So the idea behind this particular podcast is that we asked our users through a Telegram group to send in questions. We've taken those questions, we've collated them, we've curated them, we've put them into different categories, and we're going to go through those, and we'll do that in a minute. There's roughly 4 or 5 different categories. But I want to start by asking you how you're feeling about Tap. There's been lots of progress in the last 6 months, since you've taken over as CEO. It feels like a lot of new energy. We've just had some time with our team. Everyone is pumped and moving forward, and that's awesome. What are the big priorities for Tap in the next 12 months?
First of all, I feel very bullish about Tap. I believe we are in the best situation the company has ever been in its history. In terms of what it's coming up for Tap, we've got 3 main things. One of it is product improvements. So we've already started the process of introducing GBP on the card. We're also currently working on a few more secret features, but also that eventually will lead to our second goal, which is we want to increase our active monthly users to about 3 times to where we are right now, which then will lead to the third one, which is to continue being profitable as a business to some internal goals that we currently have.
That was a big announcement that the company put out not long ago, which is we're now profitable in the last second half of the last fiscal year for us, which was the second half of 2024. What does that feel like for you? That's been a while since the company's been, if ever, the company's never been profitable, right? Prior to
that's correct. It's a weight has been lifted over our shoulders. I mean, for many years we've been going in the red and being able to be in a position where we finally have money coming into the bank. It's I would say it's very comfortable being in that situation.
Yeah, it's a good win. Well, congratulations for that, and congratulations to us for that, because that's awesome. So just to reiterate, those 3 priorities for this year, for 2025, 1, make the product better, right? Continue to make it as good as it can be. It's a great product now, but there's room for improvement. We're going to make it better. 2, we want to increase our number of active monthly users. We have a lot of registered users. We have a lot of KYC users, and we want to get those people using the app again. So we've got some plans for that. And then 3, that both of those should lead to more revenue. We had a good year of revenue. We just put out our numbers, right, for end of fiscal June, end of fiscal. We put out a kind of a flash update for the second half of 2024. But we think we can, and we're not going to say publicly what our target is, but we've got an ambitious target for this year.
Oh yeah. And hopefully we continue in the same trajectory that we have been over the past few months. We're bullish that we might hit our internal targets.
Awesome. All right, so let me jump into these questions now. I have my laptop here, and we've got, like I said, roughly between 20 to 30 questions. We'll see. We're going to try to make this about half an hour. We'll see how the timing goes. So first, you mentioned GBP and card loading, et cetera. So a question came in from a user about that. Can you share an update on GBP card loading and any updates with Tap's UK banking partner?
So for the GBP on the card, I know some people might think that it's as easy as flipping a switch, but actually that couldn't be far from the truth. We need to do applications with MasterCard. We need to get approvals by our issuers. We need to then make changes on a processor level. It's a lot of work. But the team has already started that process to pretty much have a dynamic card, which means we're looking to introduce GBP and USD top-ups on the card itself, which will also be accompanied with a secret feature that we've been working on. I mean, I'll say the feature, which is going to be an auto top-up functionality, which the stage 1 out of the 3 stages of edits that the card systems will get this year. So that currently is in the process, and we're expecting to have this done by Q2.
We also just put out in social media very recently that there's an update having to do with GBP deposits, which is really important for the company. So you can just tell me what that update is and why it's important for Tap.
So majority of our user base, or I would say a good a good percentage, about 50% of our users come from the UK. And over the past few months, we unfortunately had to deactivate GBP deposits because of regulation, mostly have to do with APP fraud. So over the past few months, we've been assessing internally and working with our service provider in order to reinstate GBP functionality, which means from now on, our users in the UK can start depositing again in GBP, which that used to account for about 50% of bank transfers that the company had.
So that's huge for us in terms of having an impact on the bottom line as well, because it means there's going to be more trading, because there's going to be more UK users putting equity, or putting cash rather, into the system and trading that.
That is correct. We expect a lot of volume to start picking up again from our UK users who will be trying to activate.
Okay, awesome. All right, on to the next question. So limit orders. This has been kind of a request that people have been talking about for a while. Does Tap have any plans to put limit orders on the app?
It is part of our pipeline. We have actually, the problem is people, when they ask for a feature, they don't realize the dependencies on it. And I mean, I can probably go on for hours in why we haven't delivered it yet. So again, we have to break it in stages in order to deliver limit orders. One of the issues that we currently have had was that in order for us to do a limit order, because of the nature of our trading engine, for example, let's say you have Dogecoin and you want to do a trade to Ripple or XRP, right? Dogecoin to USD is a different price. Ripple to USD is a different price. So we need to come up with a way that we always can calculate. And then, for example, it's easy to think about it from just one person's perspective. But imagine now you have 10,000 users having to put the same limit order. Who goes first? Who goes last? So it's a very complicated system, and we're actually looking to bring that feature very soon.
Okay, another question that we got from a user is about a desktop version of Tap. Is there plans for a desktop version?
Yes, not in the near to short-term future, but it's part of the pipeline. Again, counts on dependencies. One of the things actually that we want to reinvent is our B2B product offering, which again, one of the main concerns of our previous B2B clients is that we didn't have a web interface. So as we're expanding that offering, we'll introduce as well a web interface.
Okay, awesome. Are there any plans to integrate further exchanges into the Tap app, especially for low liquidity tokens out there?
Yes, we actually are already in the process. We have identified 8 exchanges with a combined amount of close to 3,000 tokens, and they always list pretty much every token that comes out to the market, which is a good thing. That means we can start listing a bigger variety of tokens.
Okay, awesome. Okay, that was the product update questions. Let's move on to XTP. So can you provide any transparency on XTP tokenomics, such as how much is staked and locked?
So we have been looking internally to whether we'll announce publicly or whether we'll do it through the app or whether we'll be doing through simple updates as we're doing during our podcast. We still haven't identified a means of publication of those numbers. But again, we want to be open with our community. We want to have transparency. So it's part of, again, our roadmap.
All right, another question on Tap. So given the price of XTP and low trading volumes, it's clear new users are not buying and staking XTP for higher levels. Why do you think that is, and what can Tap do to improve the offering?
Promoting and improving the product. I mean, it's very simple. In terms from a product perspective, unfortunately, the upgrade functionality is a bit hidden. Our users still haven't been educated about the real offering that the upgrades have. Whether it's the cashback, whether it's the reduced fees. So a redesign of the app, that would help a lot. And as well, then targeting our user base and telling them, for example, the benefits of those updates. So that's one. And then the second one would be promotions in general. So we would try to promote it same way other companies do. For example, Revolut could do them with their Revolut metal cards. So again, promotion of our new products and our new levels should lead to improvement of XTP lockers.
Okay, all right, that's XTP. So let's move on to expansion and growth. US, lots of folks asking us about US. What's the timeline for a full launch in the US? As we said on our last podcast interview thing, we said we did a soft launch. Where are we at in the US?
So in the US, we've already integrated with a banking provider, and we've also partnered up with one of the biggest companies in terms of allowing us for open banking capabilities. And the idea is during the next 2 quarters, we'll be announcing or we'll be allowing US customers to deposit in fiat and withdraw as well. And also, we are also working with another provider for introducing debit card deposits. Again, that will provide more functionality, more funds flow into the TAP ecosystem.
Okay, that's great. Another global question. Are there any updates on when the TAP card will be available again in Switzerland?
Unfortunately, that's a limitation by our providers. We have to abide by pretty much the rules of our partners, and Switzerland was one of the jurisdictions that we had to turn off.
What do they have against the Swiss?
Licensing.
Okay.
A different licensing regime, unfortunately.
All right, next question. Are there any updates on enabling salaries paid through TAP?
Yes, it's something actually that a lot of our users have requested. And given that we have a lot of high net worth individuals that receive dividends or they receive funds from brokers, so we've been working with a new payment provider, and we're currently in the integration process and compliance onboarding. So the idea is in the near future will allow users to also receive third-party deposits. So that means you can receive money from friends, you can receive your salary, you can receive money pretty much from anywhere. And it opens up the potential of us actually being a full replacement for your regular bank account.
Okay, awesome. So revenues right now, there's another question. TAP's revenues right now continue to be weighted to trading revenue. And that appears to be the lowest hanging fruit, at least in the short term, for driving revenue growth. How will TAP convert more of its registered users into active users? Can you give us some more color on that strategy?
So our bread and butter right now is crypto trading, and we have never hidden that. We have always been open about majority of our revenues coming from that. But over the past few months, actually, we've been strategizing and trying to figure out what other products we can introduce in order not only to cross-sell, but also what would benefit the user. So the idea is eventually not only we will have crypto trading, but other features which we publicly spoken, such as, for example, stock trading. We're looking to introduce earn capabilities where you use us to just simply deposit funds and we provide some APY and we take a cut out of it. So, or loans, the ability to, for example, stake your Bitcoin with us and then you get a loan, we get an interest out of it. Those type of features, which again, it will diversify our revenue streams.
Just a follow-up to that question is, so there's this registered user group and KYC users that TAP has on board. How are you going to get them interested in using the app again?
Education and trying to create a network effect. One of the things that we haven't done over the past few months or years is actually engaging with our users when they onboard. And we've identified the reason why we've had such a big drop from users who registered to the point where they sign up KYC and then become an active user. So we've currently been integrating tools where they will give us the ability to try and bring them back to our ecosystem, whether it will be through push notifications, whether it will be through emails, or whether it would be through pop-up notification and so forth. As well, then we'll start retargeting users who have already signed up on our product through advertising, whether it will be on Twitter.
So basically what you're saying is like reminding people that we're here, that we're awesome, that we're a good product, and that they should be using us.
We exist and we're becoming better every day.
Right. Yeah, that's good. I mean, even me as a user of various apps out there, various financial apps, sometimes you forget that you have them, et cetera. And I think what's interesting now in this space is that there's more and more consolidation that's happening, where at least for people like myself that have been in the space for a while that might have 10 or 20 different, accounts at various different exchanges and various different international banks or cards or whatever it is. What I am finding is that I'm starting to consolidate to like 2 or 3 that I'm going to use that I know work, because otherwise it gets confusing. Everything's spread out all over the place. So we want to be one of those that you're consolidating to because we work so well. And I think for me that the big differentiator is the card and having a card that works. So next question, kind of following up on that, is when are we going to get the ability to pay with NFC, like for TAP to actually be TAP payments? Because that would be amazing.
So we've been working on two features. One of them is tokenization through Apple Pay and Google Pay. And then the other one is also our own custom solution, which will roll out in Europe first and then hopefully in the near future in the UK. So Tap will introduce its own Tap Pay, where you go within the app, you activate the NFC, and then you can pay with our Tap cards. But then on second stages, we'll be introducing Apple Pay and Google Pay. And that's also to bring the comfort and the flexibility to the user to decide whether they want to use our product or the third-party product.
And is there a timeline that we can announce to the world on that yet, or is that still under wraps?
Under wraps, I would say. The Apple Pay and Google Pay one, unfortunately, it's not dependent by us. We have to go through approvals by Apple themselves, and that could take anywhere between 6 to 8 months. But our own custom solution that we could do a lot faster.
Okay, the next section is marketing and community engagement. And the first question is, Tap has been relatively quiet on social media. Not sure I totally agree with that. Are there plans to improve community engagement and brand visibility?
Always. I mean, being visible to the public, getting known is a key to every type of business. We've actually been growing our social media team right now. We've been in a hiring spree trying to bring more people.
Hey,
in.
whoa.
Nope.
Not a spree. We're not on a spree. We've
right.
hired a couple people, or one more person. Maybe I'll talk to this a little bit as well, because I am helping on the communication side. Well, first of all, we're doing this. This is a plan to increase community engagement and social media and put it out into the ecosystem. And I would say, yeah, I think Tap social media has been very responsive. If you look out there, it's very engaged. It's putting out content regularly. We could always do better. We can always put out more stuff. And yeah, I think we need to continue to grow the brand, et cetera. We have been not in a place as a company where we can put a lot of dollars behind our social media and our marketing efforts. Because it's just a reality of where we've been, particularly through the last kind of crypto winter and some of the changes that the company's been through. But that's changing, and we are doing an effort, or we're making more of an effort to get out and communicate and tell the message. And you are doing that as the founder and now as the CEO, and this is part of that.
I completely agree with you.
All right, thank you. That was easy. Okay, what can we expect Tap to roll out on advertising campaigns? I mean, I'll take this one. I just said it. Obviously, when we're competing with a lot of the exchanges and challenger banks in the space, these guys have millions and millions and millions of dollars for marketing. We have to be clever. So stay tuned for what we're going to do on marketing. But it's going to be more on the guerrilla end as opposed to on popping up on everyone's Instagram feed. That's just a reality of the size we are as a company right now. Next question, will Tap's referral program return for UK users? We've been talking a lot about, it's a good question. We've been talking a lot about the referral program. It was successful in the past because it engaged a lot of people, but it wasn't good for the company's bottom line because it was too generous, right, ultimately, and didn't actually drive engagement. It drove people coming in and not being users, but just taking the referral and leaving. So what do you have planned for the referral program?
We're going to rebuild completely the referral program from what we have right now, because we've seen that it hasn't been activating as much as we expected. So the idea is to introduce missions and those sort of things in order to try to activate and make users use our product more compared to just come in and take the free rewards and leave the product.
All right, moving on to the next section, the future, roadmap and long-term strategy. So a few questions in this section. The first being, users are eager for more transparency. Will Tap publish an official roadmap? So maybe I'll start on this one and then hand it over to you. So obviously as a PLC, as a publicly traded company in London, anything that we say to one person, we have to say to everyone. We have to be careful about how we disclose things, et cetera, et cetera. So if we do publish in a roadmap, we have to do it the right way. In terms of features, et cetera, where we want to get to, we have a very, good plan, a strategy internally. Are we ready to put that out to the world yet, Arsen?
Not yet. There's still a few things that we need to have in place. We want to put our ducks in a row before publishing. And then also there is some features that we for sure don't want to publish to the market, not because we're a PLC, but also because our competition is always looking. And we've seen it in the past when we've introduced stuff, they try to copy it. So the idea of when our roadmap will go live is that we would have already prepared a second and a third strategy. So by the time they copy things that we've built, we'll have new things coming out to the market.
Okay, next question. Tap previous explored share dealing services. You already talked about this a little bit in this chat. Is that still part of the long-term plan?
Yes, we are in talks with 3 providers. Each of them do different things and they provide different type of solutions. But the idea is eventually to provide our users with the ability to trade any stock on any market, whether it's US, Europe, and depending on the provider that we'll choose to, they might have limitation on which market. But yes, we're going to introduce that in the near future.
Cool. Okay, next question. Did you see the Swiss exchange's acquisition of Aquis improving liquidity and exposure for TAP? I'll take this one, given I have the capital markets remit for the company. Who knows? I mean, the answer is Aquis is a fine junior exchange to get started on. It's great that it's been acquired, and there's someone out there that thinks that they can improve it and grow it, etc. But we'll see what that means long term for the exchange. In terms of TAP's position on Aquis, we like being on Aquis. It was a great place for us to be first available for people to buy and sell the stock in the company. Is it anyone on Aquis's long-term goal to remain on Aquis? No, it's not. Other than one company, KR1, which is a whole other matter, and they love being on Aquis. But I think in general, when you're on Aquis, it's a junior exchange. You want to be moving up. That's the goal of being listed there. So we're happy with Aquis in the near term, in the very near term. But ultimately, just like any company that's listed on Aquis, you're always looking to be ambitious and to move up. So does that make sense?
Totally.
Okay. Okay, last section, rapid fire. A couple quick questions. DeFi. Will TAP consider introducing DeFi yield features again?
Yes, we have a new product actually coming up. We've been working on it for the past few months. The idea is not only we'll be utilizing DeFi, but also CeFi to generate yield, but also our own strategies.
Okay. Will TAP trial in-app advertising as a revenue stream?
Yes, we've been testing it out for the past few months. We've seen some good results actually. As more users on board on the platform and we get more data, we might end up making this a full solution, which will create a new revenue stream, but also then gives us it doesn't make us dependent on just having trading revenue from one source. Eventually, we might lead to removing completely trading revenue and then out-competing every single player in the industry.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I dropped my glasses there.
No worries.
Will TAP develop straight-through processing so users can directly spend their crypto?
Like I said on a previous question, we've got 3 tiers or at least 3 zones that we want to tackle. First of all is multi-currency on the card, which is dynamic currencies. Then after that, we're going to introducing an auto top-up functionality where the card will always have a balance and you can pretty much load up from any crypto or cash wallet. And then after that, what we'll be doing is the straight-through processing, which means you'll be able to spend whatever you have on your wallet without the need to actually load the card first.
Okay, awesome. Last question in this section: when will XTP be added to new exchanges?
I don't know yet. I mean, it's a difficult one because exchanges want you to be liquid. It's a chicken and an egg problem, unfortunately. They want users, they want liquidity. So we need to build that. And then once we build that, then exchanges might be interested or will be interested into listing us.
I mean, from my perspective on XTP, I'm thinking long term. Like ultimately, if the company is delivering as a product, then XTP will become value. There will have more value. There'll be more liquidity, et cetera. So for me, the chicken to go first is continue to improve the product, get more users, make it an app that everyone wants to use, and then XTP will follow. So what I would say about XTP is just be patient. Like we need to continue to build things out. And I know in this space, patience is not always, seen as a virtue or seen as a trait that a lot of people have. But But ultimately, that's my answer. I think ultimately, if we're going to really be around for a long time, we need to be smart. We need to grow smart. We need to deliver on what we say we're going to deliver, et cetera, et cetera. We need to be profitable. All these things that we're doing, but that takes time, you know. And I think people need to be patient with XTP.
I completely agree with you. And if I can add to this as well, the people usually that will ask about when is the next exchange listing and all that stuff, my question back to them would be, can you name me, like, for example, 5 tokens that listed on Binance last year? I'm pretty sure no one can name those 5 tokens, at least the smaller ones, for example. Because what happens is you list, you become an exit liquidity, or the users of that exchange become an exit event, and then they're then left holding tokens.
We're trying to be the opposite of a meme coin,
Yeah.
right? I mean, a meme coin pops up, there's tons of liquidity, and then it flames out and it's gone. And we're trying to be the opposite. We're trying to be an actual, I mean, just like Binance has a token that's value. Why does it have value? Because Binance is valuable.
Built a
People are
company.
there. You know, there's something that's there. We want to be the same thing, which is, you know, and we also want to be on the right side of all regulation. So maybe Binance is not the perfect example, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, last question. Looking ahead to the next 12 months, what's the one thing you want Tap users to be most excited about?
About our trading features and about how easy our product is. Pretty much, I want people to love our product. That's the main goal at the end of the day.
I think that's a good goal.
So,
Do you want to ask me that question?
Yeah, of course I do. So, Peter, what do you think people will be? What are you looking forward to?
So, you know, you are very focused on users, and I think that's good. And I am also excited about the product being better. What I am excited about is the internal workings of the company and the way in which the company is perceived in the market. Those are 2 things I'm excited about. I think the company's culture has changed in the last, 3 to 6 months, and for the better. And I think the users are going to start seeing that through the product. So I'm excited about that. I feel like at Argo we had an awesome culture, and it permeated through down the rest of the of what we did. And then externally, I'm excited about where we're going as a company, and about growing the market cap, and about returning value to shareholders, because I think that we're not very well known right now. We're kind of underappreciated. I think we're a little bit of a sleeping giant. Maybe not a giant yet, but we're sleeping. We're on a lot of people. So yeah, I'm very excited about the next 12 months.
I'm loving it.
All right, let's wrap it there, and we'll do this again soon.
Definitely.